everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 7th, 2026, and Barcelona have officially submitted an offer for the attacking prodigy Jesse Bisiwu. Also, Dusan Vlahovic awaiting Barcelona and willing to do anything to join Barcelona. And finally, I'm going to tell you why Barcelona have yet to make an offer for Bastoni. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Bo, and we'll begin this video with some great news in regards to El Clasico match. Of course, as I told you in yesterday's video or podcast or one of the two, I cannot remember, Barcelona could make history this Sunday against Real penalties, because if Barcelona win or draw, they would become La Liga champions, and that would be the first time in history that Barcelona would win a La Liga title against Real penalties. And of course, what would make that even more special, that we would be doing it at home at the Spotify Camp Nou in front of our fans in the first El Clasico match since the Camp Nou has reopened. But that's not all. That's not all. This could be even more special, because not only Barcelona will be winning La Liga title in front of 62,000 people, but they would also be winning this in front of 1,200 members of the supporters section, because yes, the supporters section will be expanded for El Clasico match. Now, since we returned to the Spotify Camp Nou, we finally saw the return of the supporters section, which was suspended for almost 2 years, or I think a little bit more than 2 years. And when the supporters section first came back, they only come back with 800 members. But now it will be officially expanded to its full capacity of 1,200 members, starting this Sunday against Real penalties in El Clasico match, which will be absolutely amazing, because I went to the Spotify Camp Nou a few weeks ago. If you haven't seen the video about my visit to the Camp Nou, check it out on the channel. And even though the supporter section was limited to 800 people, it was still the heart and soul of the stadium. Those 800 people were enough to make the stadium loud, to chant, to sing, to give it the ambiance, to give it that advantage, right, of playing at home. So I cannot imagine what it will look like going from 800 to 1,200. That's 400 extra people who will be singing and chanting that entire 90 minutes. So this is definitely great, great news. And by the way, what a mess with the Real penalties. If you missed it, news broke that Tchouaméni and Valverde got into a fist fight. Looks like Tchouaméni knocked out Valverde. Valverde had to be taken to the hospital because he hit his head when he fell and he cut it open. What a mess, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna discuss that in more details in another video, but what a mess. By the way, Real penalties have actually issued an official statement saying that both players will be sanctioned, or there will be disciplinary action against them, which means this is not rumors, this is not tabloid news. This actually happened. Tchouaméni punched Valverde in the face, which, by the way, I don't condone violence, but I'm kind of happy that this happened to Valverde, because he punched Alex Baena in the parking lot after a match. Nothing happened to him, not even an investigation. He punched that Benfica player. No red card, no yellow card, no investigation, nothing. That guy was starting to get used to going around punching people with no consequences. So I'm kind of glad that he got laid out, because you know what? Some people just need to get punched in the face at least once so they learn how to behave. But anyways, so let's move on to the next bit of news, because I have more great news. Not only will the supporter section grow to 1,200 people, but also Barcelona have submitted an official offer for the attacking prodigy Jesse Bisiwu. What is it, Bisiwu or is it Bisiwu? If anyone knows, let me know. I'm going to go with Bisiwu. He is, after all, from Belgium. And they also speak French in Belgium. And Bisiwu sounds more French than Bisiwu sounds more French than Bisiwu. I don't freaking know. Maybe I'm just making stuff up. But anyway, so let's talk about Jesse Bisiwu, someone we've talked about on this channel for quite some time. He's an 18-year-old left winger currently playing at Club NXT, which is the reserve team of Club Brugge. So in other words, kind of like the Barca Athletic of Club Brugge, someone with lots of potential, Lots of speed, 1v1, likes to take on defenders. He's been compared with Ousmane Dembele. So if you want to think of a profile, think of Dembele's profile. That's Jesse Bisiwu. And Barcelona have been working on this signing for quite some time. In fact, both Deco and Joao Amaral traveled to Belgium in January to meet with the player and his entourage. They've been watching him for quite some time. There's a lot of reports on him. Our scouts have gone to his matches, and there's been a lot of communications between Barca and his agent. And now it's official. Barcelona have made an official offer to Club Brugge, and now Barcelona are awaiting the response of Club Brugge, who of course don't want to lose this player. He's an incredibly promising player. They have been trying to renew him for quite some time, but Jesse Bisiwu has held steadfast. He said, no, I do not want to renew. Club Brugge have been punishing him for that. They've been putting him in the stands. They've been taking away minutes from him. Despite all that, it hasn't worked. Jesse Bisiwu has insisted, I don't want to renew. So even though Club Brugge do not want to sell this player, of course, his contract does expire next summer in 2027. So they will most likely cede to the pressure, and they will most likely accept to sell him, because it's either sell him now for some money or lose him next summer for free. I think the option is pretty easy. But just know that Barcelona have made an official offer for Jesse Bisiwu, and they're now awaiting the answer of Club Brugge. Now on to the next bit of news, because speaking of attackers, guess who is awaiting Barcelona and would like to join Barcelona no matter what? It's no other than Dusan Vlahovic, the Serbian center forward whose contract expires next month. Yes, next month with Juventus. It seemed like he was about to renew his contract. In fact, his father/agent met with Juventus not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times, but 5 times. And during which the negotiations to renew his contract has gone nowhere. And the reason why Vlahovic has yet to renew with Juventus, despite Juventus doing everything in their power to keep him, is that he is awaiting Barcelona's call. Now, as you know, Barcelona were considering his signing for quite some time. They decided to move on with their search because they're not too convinced with Vlahovic's number. But now Vlahovic even making a stronger case for his signing, because not only would he be a free signing since his contract expires next month, but he's even communicated to Barcelona that he would be willing to reduce his salary. And here's another one. He would be even willing to take a secondary role. This guy is willing to do anything. He's like, I'll come for free. I'll earn a small salary. I'll be a substitute. Whatever you need me to do, I will do it, as long as I get to play for Barcelona, which honestly, given the options that we have reviewed, it seems like a pretty strong option right now. Now, in an ideal world where Barcelona have plenty of money, are financially healthy, they are under the 1-to-1 rule, I would say no. But given that current situation where we don't have that much money, where we have financial fair play problems, I think Vlahovic would be a good option. After all, he's willing to reduce his salary. He's willing to take a secondary role. He has plenty of experience. He has a goal instinct. I mean, at Fiorentina, he was absolutely unstoppable. At Juventus, he hasn't shined as much, which of course begs the question, is that because he's not really cut out for a big team like Juventus and he's more of a mid-table team like Fiorentina? Or is it because Juventus have sucked this whole time that he's been there? That's a good question to ask. But either way, I think this will be a safe gamble, because if we sign him for free on a small salary, if he still ends up not working out, if we realize, oh yeah, he's not cut out for a big club, at least you're not out that much money. And if he works out, well, you got yourself a world-class center forward. Now, my question to you guys is, does this change your opinion about Vlahovic? Would you sign him? Would you not? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, let's end today's video with an update in regards to Alessandro Bastoni, because, ladies and gentlemen, we now have an explanation on why Barcelona have yet to make an official offer for the Italian center back. Now, as you know, Barcelona's #1 priority for that center back position is Alessandro Bastoni. The player has given Barcelona the green light, which means he wants to come to Barca. Barca wants him, so both parties are on the same page. So, of course, the final obstacle is to reach an agreement with Inter Milan. There's been talks between both clubs, but through intermediaries, not directly. And Barcelona have not made an offer, even though Bastoni agreed to come to Barca back in April. So it's been several weeks since Barcelona was informed by Bastoni that he wants to come, and they have not made a move. And well, the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, and here comes the drum roll, is because Barcelona are still waiting to see what's going to happen with the center forward position. Now, as you know, Barcelona have a limited budget of 150 million euros, which might sound a lot, but in today's football market, it's not. And they know that a center forward is going to cost a lot of money. And since the number one priority ahead of the center back is the center forward, they first want to see how much a center forward will cost. And then depending on that, they'll see whether they have enough money left to sign Bastoni. Now, this could all obviously be affected by the sales of players, because right now our budget is at 150 million. Let's say we sell a player for 50 million. Now the budget is 200. That changes things, right? But here's the thing. We don't know which players can be sold or will be sold until Deco meets with Hansi Flick, because Deco needs to sit down with Flick and they need to go over the current roster and what the team should look like for next season, what players should be sold, what players should be bought. And then Barcelona could decide what players could be sold. And once players sold, that can affect the budget. And even if the players are not sold and the budget remains 150 million, well, Barcelona still need to see who's going to be the center forward next season, how much he's going to cost. And then based on that, we'll see whether there's enough money left to sign someone like Bastoni, who's going to cost a lot of money. So this is why Barcelona have yet to make an offer. For now, Bastoni is awaiting patiently, but of course, he's not going to wait forever, because if Barcelona don't sign him, he's happy staying at Inter Milan, right? The two options for Bastoni this summer is Inter or Barca. That's it. He has to come to Barca or he stays at Inter. So for now, Bastoni waiting, but of course, he's not going to wait forever. So hopefully we can wrap up La Liga title this weekend against Real penalties. That way, Hansi Flick can sit down with Deco. They can start the planification of the squad for next season, and Barcelona can start making moves before Bastoni gets tired of waiting for us and decides that open a pizzeria on the Amalfi Coast is more exciting. Just kidding. He's still young. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. That is all the news for this video. I know I'm live and not an actual video, but that's because it got pretty late, so I decided to do a live. This is not a podcast, of course, so I'm not going to be able to read any comments right now live. But, of course, tomorrow, Friday, is podcast day, so we'll see you all tomorrow in the podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Bis Barça.